What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the PMDG 737 from Miami, KMIA, to San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is TJSJ. Should be a pretty simple flight. I'm not seeing too much weather interference or anything on the way there. Airtime is going to be about 2 hours and 15 minutes, but you guys will see a time lapse there. We are flying a real flight, which is American Airlines 1650. I didn't have an American Airlines skin, so we went with this PMDG makeshift livery that they have. I'll have to try and get an American one. But this works as the closest I could get to American Airlines. Here's our flight path today. We are going to be flying a departure off of runway 8 left, the Clada 2 departure to BITAC transition. And we'll be arriving runway 8 via the Beano 3 arrival and the Beano transition. Should make for a pretty good flight. We'll go ahead and hop inside the plane and we'll start our pre-flight check. I haven't done anything in the plane as of yet, so let's get started. Park and brake can come on. We'll go overhead. We'll get our battery switch turned on. Our electric hydraulic pumps can come on and we can get established on our ground power. All right, we'll check that our landing gear lever is down, which it is. We'll do our APU and fire warning tests. Make sure everything shows up. Good. Very good. Everything seems to be working there. We'll go ahead and move over here. We'll check these lights here. Lights are good. Lights are good. We'll go overhead here. We'll give our Mach indicator, Mach airspeed warning, number 1 and 2, and our flaps can be tested here. Everything looks good there. Our position lights can come on. Our wing lights can come on. Position lights are already on. We'll get our wing lights turned on. Our engine bleed switches right here, they're already turned on. Our yaw damper or IRSs can be set to nav. We'll turn on our yaw damper here in a bit. Emergency exit lights can come on. No smoking can come on, and seatbelt signs can come on as well. Flap lever is up. Speed brake lever is down. Galley switch is on. Window heats can come on. Probe heat switches can stay off. And we are all set to start our flight plan. So we'll jump down here. We'll head over to FS actions. We'll go to payload first. Our zero fuel weight today is going to be 109.4. 109.4. We'll drop that in there. We'll hit return. We'll go to fuel. Our block fuel is going to be 16,924. 16,924. We'll drop that in there. And we are set to head over to FMC, get our position initialized. We'll do KMIA as our reference gate or reference airport, which we don't necessarily need to do. GPS left, we'll grab that, we'll head back, we'll drop it in here, and we'll head to route. Origin is KMIA, and destination is TJSJ. Flight number is American Airlines 1650. And we will head to the next page. We'll start putting in these waypoints. We're going to be flying the Yankee 290 jetway, I believe, through all of them. Yeah, so there's only a couple waypoints we got to put in here, not too much. We'll start at BITAC because the Clada 2 is our departure, so we'll put that in with our runway departures and arrivals and stuff. All right, BITAC is going to be our first waypoint, BITAC. We'll drop that in there. Then we're going to jump on the Yankee 290. Yankee 290, and that's going to be to HAGIT, and then to CALTO via the Yankee 290, and then let's move over my other screen here to Zyber, ZIBER. It's also going to be Yankee 290. And then to Sayer, SAYER. Somebody told me you can click on this screen and then type, but I don't see that. It's not working. I just wanted to try it. All right, Yankee 290 again. All right, we'll head to the next page. We'll go to Beano. That is going to be our last waypoint, BEANO, and that's going to be the Yankee 290 waypoint as well. Drop that in there. So we'll head over to departure and arrival. We're going to be departing runway 8 left via the Clada 2 departure and the BITAC transition. Head back to departure arrival. Our arrival is going to be runway, it was 8, right? Yeah, runway 8, ILS 8 via the Beano 3 arrival, and we're not doing a transition here. So we'll head over to route, we'll head to activate, execute, and let's head to legs. I believe there will be, yeah, I thought there's gonna be a discontinuity in here. So we'll move that to here, execute, and we'll head back to the beginning. We'll jump up here, we'll set this to plan mode, and we'll step our way through this just to make sure everything looks right. Beautiful. Everything looks good to me. All right, we'll zoom this back out to map mode, and we'll head back down here to init ref, and we'll finish inputting the rest of this stuff. So flight level 370, we're gonna be at 37,000 today. Our cruise wind, gonna move down here, 329.11, 329 at 11 knots. Our zero fuel weight was 109.4. We did 1,000 in reserves, and our cost index, let me look at my sim brief thing here, is going to be 21. 21. So we'll go ahead and execute that. We'll go to N1 limit. We're going to do takeoff configuration 1. We'll head over to takeoff. We're going to go to next page. We'll bring up our METAR. METAR, however you want to say it. And we're looking at 070 at 9 knots. So 070 at 9 will be runway wind. We'll jump back a page. We're going to go 5 flaps, which will give us our trim, which is 5.4, our V1, VR, and V2 as 132 on our speed. And our altimeter is 29908, which is pretty close to standard. So we'll just get that 29908. There we go. We got that set. And it looks like we are all set to go. We'll get our trim set real quick to 5.4. And then we have to input some more information from our charts. And then we can do our before start checks and get out of here. So there we go. We'll do right about there for 5.4. Let's take a look at our chart. So for our arrival, we're doing runway 8. So let's go to our approach, runway 8. We have our localizer frequency here, our final approach course here, airport elevation, and our ILS is 311. So let's get all this information put in the plane. And before I forget, let's jump up here and let's set our pressurization to 37,000. There we go. All right. We'll start with our ILS frequencies. We'll jump down here to our frequencies. So it's going to be 110.3. So 110.3. We have that set. We'll head back up here. Our final approach course is going to be 078. We'll get that set. 078. Our altitude is going to be 370. There we are. Our speed, initial speed is going to be 132. And our airport elevation is 9 feet, so we don't have to change our landing elevation in the pressurization. But our landing barometer is going to be 311. So we'll set that to 311. There we are. We got that all set. So we're done with this chart here. We can go ahead and close out of that. Move this back over. And I believe we are all set for our before start checks. So our FMC is programmed. We'll toggle our flight directors on 1 and 2. Our auto throttle switch can stay off. Our Mach indicator is set. Heading selector. So we're departing runway 8 left. So runway 8 left on the departure chart. If anybody was wondering, on your Clada 2, which is your SID, standard instrument departure. 8 left down here, climb on a heading of 092. That is going to be our initial heading that we set. So 092. All right, our heading selector is now set. Our altitude selector set. Our autopilot disengage bar is down. Thrust levers are idle. Stabilizer trim set. Auto brakes can be set to RTO. We can head over here, up above us here, and get our APU started. APU bleed switch can come on. We could do our stall warning tests, and we can also come down here. We'll set our TCAS to standby, and we'll run a test on that as well. So we'll wait for that call out. We'll wait for our APU to come to life.
TCAS test pass.
There we are. And now we'll jump overhead here. We're just waiting for our APU to stabilize and come to life. As soon as that does, we can go on our APU generators and do our before pushback checks, which we'll be doing here in just a second. I'm going to try this wing view today. Usually I do behind the wing, but I think it'd be interesting to do one, you know, where you can see the engine and stuff. All right, APU light should pop on here in just a second. Stabilizing at 4,000 here. And there it is. We'll go on our APU generators. 1 and 2. And we can start our before pushback checks. First thing we need to do is fuel pumps can come on. We're not using our center tanks today, so we don't have to worry about that. APU generator switches on. Seatbelt signs are confirmed. Flight deck doors and windows are locked. Anti-collision lights can come on, and ground equipment can be disconnected. So we'll head to menu, FS actions, ground services. We will release the ground power, and we will remove the wheel chocks. All right, with that being said, we are ready for push and start. So we are going to runway 8 left. Let's find out where we're going. Open charts, taxi charts, airport. We are right here. Runway 8 left is right here. So we will push back on November. We'll jump on Mike, and we'll take Mike down to Mike 1. Cross runway 8 right and line up on runway 8 left. Seems pretty simple. Let's hope we don't screw it up. All right, so we will switch this to engine mode. We'll call for our tug for pushback. We'll set this to our right ignition today. We can release our parking brake, and as soon as, well, we're good. We can start it. We'll get our right engine going first today. Make sure everything's disconnected. We're good. We're looking for 18 on our N2. There it is. We'll go ahead and give it some fuel. And we should start pushing here. Come on. There we go. Let's get that pushback started. Let's get out of here, off the ground. We'll be off the ground here in about 10 minutes. It's a pretty straightforward taxi. So we'll let that engine come up, and then we'll get our second engine going here in just a second. Once that clicks over, which is about to. There it goes. We'll get our left engine going. We're going to look for... Airport looks awesome. I do have the Miami scenery. Looking for 18. Same procedure. We'll feed it fuel. There's 14, 15, 16, 17, and fuel. We'll keep on pushing back. Oh, you hear that engine coming up? That sounds so good. And we can hold it right about here. We'll go ahead and put our brake on. We'll jump back in the cockpit. We'll verify that our brake is set, which it is. We're waiting for that to click off. Once that's clicked off, we'll do our after start checks, which will be any second here. And we can get our yaw damper turned on. There we go. I'm sure that'll be clicking. There it goes. So we'll head over to the overhead panel. After start checks, engine generator switches 1 and 2 can come on. So we're now on our engine generators and off our APU. Our APU bleed switch can come off, and our APU can come off as well. Our probe heat switches 1 and 2 can come on. Our master caution recall. We are good. We'll jump back over top. Engine and wing anti-ice we don't need. Pack switches can be set to auto. Isolation valve can be set to auto. And our transponder can be set to TARA. There we are. And we are good. We can start our taxi checks, which is going to be taxi lights and runway turnoff lights, and come on. Engine start switch is set to continuous. No, I don't do that yet. I do that on before takeoff checks. All right, so taxi lights on, runway turnoff lights on. Flaps can be set to 5. 1, 2, 3. There's our flaps. You can see them coming out. Oh, I guess I usually do behind the wing view. Today I'm doing in front of the wing, so you can't see the flaps. And we are good to go. We got to check our flight controls: left, right, forward, back, rudder. Let's get out of here. Let's release our parking brake. And we need to go to the right. So we'll give ourselves some throttle here. And we'll give ourselves full right rudder. There we are, and we're gonna follow this taxi line right here, up and to the right. There's the airport scenery there. If you guys wanted to see that, looks really good. All right, let's get on that taxi line. We'll take this right here on this taxi line, and we'll follow that up to the left. We're gonna kind of zigzag onto, what was it, Mike? Yeah, onto Mike. Give ourselves a little more throttle. So we'll go to the right here. I'm just gonna kind of, I'm not gonna fully make this turn here. We'll just go straight across here, since we don't have any traffic or anything to worry about. All right, then we're gonna go right, and then we're gonna go left. And this is Mike. This should take us all the way down to Mike 1, which is where we're going to get on or cross runway 8 right and hop on 8 left and get ourselves out of here. So we'll follow this the rest of the way down. There's another wing view. You can see the scenery and everything there. It looks really good. All right, we'll give ourselves a little more throttle, get ourselves moving a little quicker here. Well, not that much. About to take off the taxiway. Yeesh. All right, that should be good. We'll just kind of coast this down. If you guys are enjoying this, feel free to hit that like button. Leave a comment. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already. This was a requested flight in the comments, so shout out to whoever requested the flight. It should be a good flight. I've never flown in or out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, in game or at any time, so this is definitely a new flight for me. I'm excited to see it. We're crossing Mike 3 here, so we are almost there. We're just going past this one here, so right about there. Right there, we're gonna take that inside line. It's a beautiful day. It's usually raining out here in Florida every time I fly out of it, at least, so at least we got some clear skies today. That's new for me. Whoop, drifting here. All right, so we'll taxi up here. We're about to cross runway 8 right, just in front of us here. Okay, so we'll take this to the right. We will follow this taxi line down, and we are entering 8 right now. So we'll go ahead and cross over. and we want to get onto a left. So this is going to be our hold short line right here. There is one to the right of us as well, which I think maybe we should probably be shifted over there, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and hit our brakes here for a second. We'll be sure to give everybody whiplash. We'll toggle our brakes on. Yeah, see, there's a... I guess I should have crossed there, came down and went there. I don't know. But nevertheless, we're lined up at 8 left. We'll do our before takeoff checks. First thing, auto throttle can be armed. Engine start switches now can go to continuous. Master caution system recall, we're good. Transponders already set. Landing lights and strobe lights can be set to, it's the wrong one, to strobe. There we go. All right, we will release our brake. We'll go ahead and pull out onto the runway, and we're gonna get out of here in just a second. Start a right turn and get ourselves lined up here. Oh, we came out a little hot there. Slow down. All right, we'll go ahead and hit our brakes. And we are ready for departure. We'll go ahead and hit our toga button. We'll keep the nose down, that way we don't take off prematurely. We'll listen for our call outs. We'll try and hold the plane to the center line best we can. And let's get out of here. Cross checked.
V1, rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. We're going to nose down so we can get up to our flap speed here. Flaps can come to 1. We'll keep our nose steady down if we can. Continue climbing out, get our flaps all the way in. All right, and we'll bring our flaps all the way in. We can now go VNAV, LNAV, and autopilot engage. Get that VNAV back on there. And there we go. Good departure. We're gonna fly right over Miami. I believe from the left wing view we'll be able to see it. There's Miami directly in front of us there. Our after takeoff checks, landing gear is up. We can set this to off. Flaps are up, taxi light switches and runway turnoff lights can come off. Our autopilot is set and our auto brakes can come off as well. We've finished our after takeoff checks. We'll do our climb checks after 10,000. Let's jump into a wing view. Beautiful departure out of Miami there. Went very smooth. Look at that intersection right there. That's crazy. And there's Miami just below us there. Actually, no, I'm lying. Miami's out here. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know Miami like that. Maybe that is Miami. I don't know. I thought Miami was out across the bridge on the coast though, so I don't know. What do I know? I do recognize these 3 islands here though. Very smooth departure. Lots of fun there. All right, we're crossing over 7,000 here in just a second. We're coming up on our 10,000, which is where we can start our cruise. Our cruise checks. We're back in that wing view as we fly over Miami. Not gonna have too much to see after this. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of clouds. Maybe there will be. I don't know, but hopefully the time lapse looks somewhat interesting instead of just blue water. All right, we're coming up on 9,000 here. We're about to make a left turn. There's our left. There's a boat down there. That's pretty cool. A little cargo boat or whatever. All right, let's jump back over here. We could do our climb checks, which is landing lights can come off. and engines can be set to off, and engine, wing, and anti-ice, which we are not using. Oh, excuse me. So we don't have to worry about them. You see the whole coastline. That looks awesome. That was a great departure. I never flew this direction out of Miami. I don't know if I ever flew out of Miami. Maybe I have. I forget. But I have landed in Miami, which makes for a pretty cool flight. But I'll stick with you until about 18,000. At 18,000, as usual, we'll toggle on our autopilot, or our time lapse, which will be in this view right here. I told you, I mean, we're over water, so there's not going to be too much to see. Hopefully there's some clouds that kind of give you some awareness of movement. I'm sure it can be pretty disorienting, but just having like a blue ground, nothing to reference your speed or movement off of. Looks very good so far. I did like using the engine wing view as opposed to using just the behind the wing view. And I think actually when we arrive, we're going to want to be on the right side. So let's, because the island is going to be on our right. So we'll do that view for arrival. You can see the bottom southern part of Florida down there. We're coming up over 14,700. And we're 13 nautical miles away from our next waypoint. Beautiful flight, man. And we are on our way, heading to Puerto Rico. Never been to Puerto Rico, never flew there, never been there in a simulation. Nothing. So this is all new for me. Everything seems to be going just fine. We're following our climb rate, and I don't think there's any constraints that we have to worry about or care about. We'll head back over to legs. At Clado, we're going to be at 21,000. We'll definitely make that. We have plenty of time. We got another 9 nautical miles to get there. So flight's going pretty well. Crossing over 17,400 right now. Get one last view out there of the coast of Florida. And we'll jump up here and we can set our altimeter into standard mode. And we are good to start our time lapse. We'll go ahead and jump in the window here. And I will see you guys on the descent. Hope you enjoy the flight. guys, welcome back. We have began our descent. Hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. It was a pretty good flight. We didn't hit much turbulence at all. I think it was actually really smooth. We did see some clouds, so it wasn't you know, just clear skies and blue ground, so I am happy about that. But we are crossing 24,000 on our descent. Here we are. I'll show you where we are on our arrival. This is about where we are. We're actually a little bit high right now, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in some speed brakes, and that'll help us slow down so that we can get down back onto our slope that we're supposed to be on. And there it goes. You can see it's starting to go backwards now. So we're a little bit off our glide slope or our descent rate, so with our speed brakes set, we should be able to get right back onto that. You can see it coming down real quick now. So we just extended our speed brakes a little bit, but everything else is looking pretty good. We can do our descent checks, which is seatbelt signs. We can go ahead and toggle those on. Well, we never turn them off, so that's fine. We'll leave those on. Air conditioner and pressures are pressures are good. Transition altitude will do. Engine start switches can be set to continuous. That's not continuous. What else? Transition altitude at 18,000. We'll do that in just a second, and we need to set this for arrival. So we're going to do flaps 30 at 127 knots plus 5, and that should do that. We're good. What was that? 127. Yeah, 132. That's right. All right. We're almost caught up to our glide slope, or not our glide slope, our VNAV path. You'll see this turn back to VNAV path here in just a second, right here, once we get close enough. There it goes, VNAV path. We'll keep the brakes on just a little bit longer, and we can cut them off. We're good. And we are back on course. We're coming up to our transition altitude, which is 2988. So we'll go ahead and set that now. 2988. There we are. And once we get a little bit lower, we'll do our approach checks. Looks like we are going to be flying into some overcast here. Nothing too crazy, it doesn't look like. But we'll definitely be flying into that. Our next waypoint, we need to be at 11,000. We're at 18,000, so, and we have 20 nautical miles to go. We have plenty of time to get ourselves down there. Everything looks good. We're just kind of monitoring the plane, making sure everything is doing as it's supposed to. Let's take a look at this real quick. So from Milet, we're going to head to Weston. Then we're going to make a left turn and line up on course. So lock onto our ILS and everything. Looks like everything is going smooth. Coming below 16,700 here. We got about 16 nautical miles to go before we hit our Beano waypoint, which is where we need to be at 11,000. And then our next waypoint, we need to be at or above 6,000, which I'm hoping it's closer to the 6,000. Otherwise, I might have to intervene. Like do a level change instead of a VNAV path. We'll see. Hopefully it'll go smooth. Plane usually does a pretty good job at calculating that, so hopefully that'll work out just fine. There's our 15,000. Getting closer to our approach checks, which I usually do. Some of them around 10,000. I guess we could wait a little bit longer. We'll wait until we pass, you know, until we're up by Milet. We could do our approach checks. But at 10,000, our landing lights will need to come on. I haven't seen the island yet. I just see the clouds. The clouds are just kind of blocking our view from it. I think I am starting to see some water texture. What is that? Oh, it's a sticker on the window. I was like, that's a weird looking island. It's a window freaking sticker. Ay, ay, ay. Is that land I see up there? Yes, it is. I see some land just in there. 14,000. Continuing down, we are on our VNAV path. We are looking pretty good. continue on down. A nice smooth descent. We got 6 more nautical miles before we hit that Beano. Let's go over here and let's toggle this guy on. Oh, not that button, this one. Oh, yep, that's what I wanted, darn it. There we are. That's gonna be our VNAV path. So we should hit 11,000 right at Beano. So it looks like we are on target for that. About 3 nautical miles to go, and then we're gonna cross that waypoint. We can get terrain turned on, although we're not close to it just yet, but it will start painting it in once we get closer. So you can see a little bit over there. I wonder if we can see it out the window. Kinda, not much, just barely right there, but there we go. Starting to head down below these clouds, and then we should get a nice view of the land, which you can see right there. And you can also see on the radar here, it's painting in the terrain. So there's our Beano at 11,000 perfectly. And we're going to continue down to 6,000 from here. Really good. Coming into San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll add some speed brakes to help us slow down and follow that path, because our speeds are coming down. I think they're probably gonna go down to 240. Just add a little bit of drag, that way the plane can manage everything right. And there we are. Let me look over here. I want to be at 6,000 by the time we hit Milet. If we're not at 6,000, I'm probably going to want to intervene, because that's the 6,000A, which I think is 6,000 or above, which we can be at 6,000 but not higher. But between that waypoint and the waypoint after that, we have to drop 3,000 feet. So that's why I want to be as close to 6,000 by that waypoint as we can. Although I think we'll have enough room. I mean, obviously the charts are pretty accurate, but I just want to make sure, because if we're too high, then we're going to overshoot our landing and runway, which I've done that before, not here, but it's never fun to have to restart a video and do a whole flight again because you screwed up the landing. So I'm going to try to avoid that. Looks like we're doing good so far. I mean, the VNAV path has us on a pretty generous descent rate. It's only at 100 feet per minute. No, not 100. Maybe. But it's not. Oh, 950. 1,000, not 100. And we got about 12 nautical miles to go. Yeah, we'll be fine. Let's jump in that wing view again as we continue descending through the clouds here. Beautiful colors on the clouds as it, you know, turns evening. Starts to become evening out here. Doesn't say anything about storms, so I don't think we're gonna run into any weather, but clouds are looking a little thick in front of us. Here we are at 8,000. Oh yeah, we need our landing lights on. We can also get our auto brake set to 2. Master caution recall, we are good. Speed brake, flaps, landing gear, and taxi light switches is all we have left to do on our approach checks. So we'll wait till we get a little bit closer to do that. We can arm the speed brakes now, but we may end up needing them. Let me see what our speeds are. The 240 Weston, we're gonna be at 175, which we'll be able to introduce our flaps. 144. Okay. So long as we follow that, we should be good. Let's see what this is saying. So it says we're going to be at 6,000 at Milet. So we got about 6 nautical miles to go. We're at 7,300. I think we're fine. And then down to 3,000 after that. And there you are. There's Puerto Rico. I think we're about to go through a cloud here. Yeah. Hopefully there's no crazy turbulence or rain. We'll see. Colors look awesome, man. I love the clouds and the weather and the lighting and everything in Microsoft Flight Sim. They did so good with it. Very immersive, very real feeling. Just looks awesome. Look at these vivid colors. Just looks so good. All right, 6,500, 500 feet more to go. We got 2.1 nautical miles to go till we hit that waypoint. We do have our localizer starting to show up. I would like to get us down lower if we can, because we are well above our localizer, which I might go in. This might be where I go into level change. Let's see what it does here, if it starts to drop us quicker or not. We could probably get down quicker if I put my speed brakes in. Actually, I don't think that matters when you're in VNAV path. I think it's going to follow that path no matter what. But we don't want to be above our glide slope. We want that to catch up to us. So we'll keep our speeds up. There we go. We are finally flying over the land here. Starting to get some ground textures and stuff. It looks like our glide slope is starting to move upwards towards us. So as we descend, we should run right into that. Go ahead and rearm our speed brake. So we need flaps, landing gear, and taxi light switches. So we'll just keep descending down, and runway will be off to our left here shortly. And our speeds are starting to come down. I have some speed brakes to help us slow down a little bit. We're almost up to our glide slope path here, which you can see our diamond is almost with us here. And then we'll toggle on our approach mode and start slowing it down. There's our airport over there. So we can go ahead and toggle approach mode on. And we locked onto everything. We are good to go. So let's bring our speeds down. We'll get them down to 175. And we'll start getting some flaps in here. There we are, lined up with the runway. And our speeds are slowly going to start coming down as they're supposed to. Go ahead and get our taxi light switches and runway turn-off lights on. Yeah. Just need our speeds to come down. I don't know why they're not coming down here. We'll go ahead and get us a notch of flaps in, which we're going a little fast to do, but we're not slowing down, so I'm hoping once we do that, we can also drop our gear. There we go. Now it's coming down. And we can get this all the way down. We'll do one. Yeah, we'll get it all the way down. And we go flaps 2, or I guess, here we are. And 195, we'll get flaps 5, or yeah, 5 degree flaps. Once our speeds hit 175, we'll go full flaps, which it just about is. And we are looking good on the approach so far. Here's a window view. Very, very nice approach. Let's jump back up here. We got to keep an eye on our flaps are fully set. Our speed brakes are set. Landing gears down. Taxi lights and switches and all that is on. We're looking good. I'll get my foot on the rudder pedals here. And we'll go off the autopilot. And we're going to hand fly it the rest of the way. So we'll level it off here a little bit just to stay on that glide slope and make, you know, we want to make sure we clear these trees here. Staying on that glide slope. We got 2 white, 2 red. Nose up a little bit more. Get these engines to kick in. All right.
Approaching minimums.
All right. There we are. Man, we're getting close to these trees here. All right, and we will let her come down. Go a little bit left. Get ready to get our reversers on.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Little flare. And we are down. We'll get our reversers on. Reverse thrust. All right, and there we are. We can get off right here. We'll get our reversers turned off. We'll pull off the runway here and we will hold short here and figure out where we need to go. I don't know if we need to follow this line straight, or I guess we'll just hold short right here. So we'll put our brakes on. Welcome to San Juan, Puerto Rico. All right, our after landing checks. Landing lights can come off. 1 and 2. Strobe lights can come off. Well, we left them on the whole time. Taxi lights on. So we already have those on. I don't have to do that. Flaps we can bring back to normal. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way back. We'll bring our flaps in, or our speed brakes, I mean. Transponder can be set to standby. Set that to standby. Engine start switches can be set to off. And we can start our APU. And get our APU bleed switch on. Let's get a little bit of lighting up here. There we are. All right, let's figure out where we are and where we have to go. Open charts, taxi, airport. Yeah, okay, so we do have to go to the right there. That's why I stopped a little early, because I wasn't sure. And we're just taxiing right, we're like right there at the terminals. That's awesome. So we'll turn this auto throttle off. We'll put this back up. Go ahead and release our brake. We'll cut it to the right. We'll give ourselves some acceleration here. We'll turn ourselves to the right. Not really sure if I'm supposed to taxi straight across this. I don't see why not. So we're just gonna do it. All right, and we'll taxi over to one of the terminals on the right side over here. Not those ones. We'll take this taxi line to the right just in front of us here. And we'll head over to a gate. If you guys enjoyed this, drop a like, leave a comment. That approach was a little nerve-wracking for me because we were really close to those trees, and I I had to keep pitching it up to make sure we didn't scrape those trees there. That was a very interesting approach, very different from what I'm used to. All right, so we'll just follow this right in on the right hand side here. We'll take this this taxiway right up to the terminal. Slow down a little bit here, and we'll take this one here. There we are, and we'll taxi ourselves right on in here. We're slowing down. And there we are. Put our brake on, and we could do our parking check. So our parking brake is set. Our seatbelt signs, let's go overhead here. Seatbelt signs can come off. No smoking can come off. APU generator switches can come on. We're now on the APU. Our fuel cutoff switches can come down. We'll cut the fuel. We'll request for our ground power and everything. Ground services. We'll set the wheel chocks. We'll request the ground power. We'll wait for that, and then we'll get established on ground power. And we'll request our jetway as well if we can. As soon as that's connected, we should be able to do that. Let's give it another second here. There it goes. No jetways today. Nope, we want jetway, not stairs. We'll request the jetway. There it is. It's heading over. Go to the overhead panel here. Our ground power will get established on. We are now on ground power. APU bleed switch can come off, and our APU can come off. These can be set back to off. Our isolation valve can be open. Probe heats, window heats, fuel pumps, anti-collision lights, yaw damper can come off, and that, I believe, is everything. So we've got to jump out to an outside view here. Oh wait, we still have some lights on here. Taxi lights, get those off. There we are. All right, guys, welcome to San Juan, Puerto Rico. If you guys enjoyed that flight, leave a like, leave a comment. Be sure to share this. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe if this is the kind of stuff you're into. And I will see you guys on the next flight.